my art basically speaks to the need we have to sit in quiet, how we can contribute, how we're going to be in the world.
Hi, we're here today with Susan Friedman. Susan, tell us a little bit about your history as an artist.
Well, I've been painting for over 20 years now, and I started just as a means to get away from my other job, as a way of, it really became a meditation for me. I started taking courses. I had a very self-directed art education. So I started with Toronto School of Art, Halliburton School of the Arts, and every time I took a course, it inspired me more and more. So I just wanted to keep learning and learning. And before I knew it, I was just couldn't not do it. And I retired from a full-time job 2018, so that was 7 years ago. And since then, I've just been doing it full-time. I retired a bit early, so I'd have an opportunity to really take this on full-time. And besides my little studio in my basement, I am now in a studio with some others. And I'm just loving all the art communities that I'm meeting. I started showing about 10 years ago, and again, that introduced me to more and more other artists and other people passionate around the arts and creating in all different ways, and I'm hooked. I just can't not do it.
Why did you enter into the venture of creating eco art?
Well, that came about kind of serendipitously. I mean, I've always cared about the planet and the environment, quite passionately, actually, but what happened with me is I started realizing many years ago that the paintings I liked the most were paintings that I had painted over. So the second or third incarnation of a painting was always way more interesting to me. And that was for a number of reasons. It was because there was a lot of texture, there was a lot of story that informed the next piece that came out. I wouldn't gesso over it, I would just have little bits of the previous piece show through. And I loved that, and I loved the different textures that would be there, and I realized it was also a really good way to recycle my work and be good for the planet. And then during COVID, interesting enough, I was doing a lot more collaging, and art supply stores were closed. So I went into my basement and found all these stacks of, figure drawing. I do a lot of life drawing, so I had all these papers from, Japanese brush drawing I had tried years and years earlier, and beautiful Japanese papers. And I thought, what am I saving them for? Nothing should be that precious. I don't want them going into landfill one day, so now's the time. So I just started tearing things up and using them as my background. So all my pieces now start as a full collage, an abstract collage. And I use my own artwork. I use found papers, I use insides of envelopes, anything with an interesting color or pattern that speaks to me that I think I can use in my art. And even when I don't, I just recycle everything. So old magazines, newspapers, I just incorporate it all. And that becomes the ground, and very active ground, for then incorporating figures into the work afterwards. I love how art takes me to a quiet place. I think when you look at my art, you'll see that they generally are figures, usually women, not always, but female figures that are sitting in a contemplative kind of pose. And although I take my figures from life drawing and personal photographs, this is what art brings to me. I think my art basically speaks to the need we have to sit in quiet moments and appreciate not only what we have, but just what's going on around us, and quiet the noise of the world, and then kind of figure out how we're going to be part of that, how we can contribute, how we're going to be in the world. So my art is definitely a reflection of that.